Hey guys, it's Xander. I barely know her. If you've been playing a lot of Schedule 1 like I have, you've probably gotten to the point where things are getting a little bit overwhelming to care for all your plants and products and all that. So you'll probably want to start automating things, and you do that by hiring employees. But it's not super straightforward on how to set all that up. And today I'm going to walk you through how to set up a botanist so that you can get started on automating your plants. They weren't super clear about it, but I spent some time on it and I figured out how to do this, so now I can show you guys how to set up your employees and start automating these processes a little bit. So let's get into it. In order to hire an employee, first you need to get access to the warehouse. You get that access by progressing through the story and making more contacts. Once you get connected with Shirley Watts by becoming friendly with Meg or with Jerry, she can hook you up with Pseudo, and that progresses the story to where you need access to the warehouse to buy the other ingredients in the setup to making meth. And you have to talk to Uncle Nelson on a payphone and get that all set up. Here's my botanist. He's very hard at work, and I'm going to show you how I got that done. First, I'm going to show you where to get the botanist. It has to be past 6 p.m. for you to be able to get access to the warehouse. So I'm going to head over there. And if you haven't figured out where the warehouse is yet on the map, it's this building right here. This building here. Alright, once you manage to get inside the warehouse, you're going to want to go up these stairs. And you're going to want to talk to Manny. He's the fixer. Make sure you have cash on you when you come to do this, because you have to pay a signing fee in cash. So you're going to want to select the botanist, and then you have to select where you want them to go. So I select mine at the bungalow. You do need to assign them to a bed. So just make sure that there's a bed wherever you're assigning them to. So then I'm going to head back to the bungalow, or wherever you assigned the employee to. Once you get to wherever you assign them, they're going to be standing outside, and they're going to need you to take out the managing clipboard. And you're going to have to do a couple things here. So first of all, you need to assign them to a bed. So I'm going to assign them this bed right here. And that's where they're going to sleep. You can't use the bed if they're assigned to it. So I keep another one here so that I can sleep through the night here if I want. And then this is how you pay them as well. They take $200 a day, but you can put a bunch of money in here. Like, you can really stack this up, and they'll only take $200 from it a day. So you can put a bunch of money in there. And then you're going to need to assign him a place to get his supplies from. So I'm going to assign him, so that's going to be a storage container, and that's going to include seeds and soil. This shelf right here, it looks like I need to pick up some more soil. But I've got a ton of seeds for him. That's where he's going to get his supplies to work. And then we need to assign him actual plants to work on. So you're going to hit this right here, assign pots and drying racks, and this little edit button. And then you're going to go through here and click on the plants you want him to work on. And then you click it again. Click the next one, click it again. You do have to individually click through all of these, unfortunately, and they can work on up to 8 plants. So I'm going to assign him 8 plants to work on. The last thing you need to assign, keep your managing clipboard out, and then you can manage pots in large groups. So I'm going to click on all 8 of these pots here and manage them. And what you need to select is a destination. So select a destination. And I'm going to go over here and select this storage rack. But what that does is when your botanist harvests those plants, then they're going to go onto this shelf. And make sure you empty this occasionally. Looks like I need to empty some out of there. Because if you don't empty it, then they will just stop existing and you'll miss out on product. But that's what you need to assign: bed, supply shelf, pots, and then assign a destination to those plant pots. The other things that you can do with this clipboard is you can select what kind of seed you want growing here. I'm only growing 1 strand, so that doesn't really matter for me. And then if you are adding things like speed grow or fertilizer or PGR, you can assign those to these plants. Make sure that you do provide your botanist with those supplies in order to do that. I don't use those, so it doesn't really matter. But if you have like multiple kinds of seeds, or you can manage that however you want, which is pretty nice. That's how you set up the botanist. I hope that made sense. I hope that was clear. And the same concept applies also for the chemist. Just there's going to be different things in the supply rack, and you're going to be assigning them to like the chemist station in the oven. Thank you for watching. This has been Xander. I barely know her. Please consider subscribing or checking out my Twitch streams if you want to see more content.